Although poetry may seem fun and simplistic, it can be very complex. Poetry comes in many different forms, and most of the time has hidden meaning. The reader must act as a detective, decoding the hidden meaning in the text and discover the true message the author is trying to convey. Every poem has a purpose, or a message that the author wishes the reader to understand. Before reading the poem, it might be helpful to ask questions like, "What do I think this poem will be about?" Or, "What does the title tell me about this poem?" Answering the question, "What does the title tell me about the poem?" one can predict that the title, "Stop This Train," is a possible metaphor for the author's life. Now it is time to read the poem. Poetry is meant to be heard. To hear the rhythm of the poem, it must be read aloud. One may read it silently and have it read aloud to grasp the full meaning of the text. Rereading is always beneficial, as one may pick up on new ideas by reading the text again. A dictionary is a useful tool to have when reading a poem. Also, while reading, it might help to annotate the text. Marking down places of interest or even confusion can help in breaking down the meaning of the poem. After reading, jot down one sentence that sums up the purpose of the poem. An example for "Stop This Train" is that the purpose was to bring emphasis on the fact that Mayer's youth is beginning to escape him. The tone is an essential part in understanding the text, and can sometimes be tricky to pinpoint. Each reader will interpret the poem differently, which can result in different readers having different tones. There are many different types of tones. In the song "Stop This Train," Mayer has a fearful tone, as he is afraid of growing up and getting older. Ask the question, "What type of poem am I reading?" Poetry comes with its own set of vocabulary, which can get confusing, so it is important to know the different types of poems in order to determine what type of poem you are reading. Keep in mind the rhyme scheme as well as the metrical pattern. Is the word "I" being used in the poem? If it is, then it is important to determine who the "I" is talking about. Mayer uses first person to convey a very personal connection between the person listening and his own personal experience. If the poem still seems unclear, after following the steps, take a small break and return to the poem with a clear mind. Don't forget that the author could possibly be the missing piece to the puzzle. Understanding the author's life and what type of poetry the poet is known for will be a big part in understanding how the poem came about and what the words really mean. Pay attention to the time period the poem was written in, as well as major events that occurred in the author's life. So, who is John Mayer? John Mayer is a singer-songwriter who writes about life, relationships, and hardships, which can relate to many people. After following all the steps and piecing together all of the clues, the meaning of the poem should be clear.
Stop this train, I wanna get off and go home again. I can't take the speed, it's